And Ronnie, of course, inducted to the Met Hall of Fame. Well-deserved honor. I've had fun with Ronnie all week. He knows that, but boy, that's a good job. It was a very important ingredient on those Mets teams in the 80s. Ronnie, nice to talk. How are you today, pal? Okay?
Chris, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure for you. Should the Mets, do you feel somewhat unsatisfied that great Met team did not win a second championship?
No, I think it's even more than that, Chris. You know, I think our run really should have been 85 through 88. We had an unbelievable club. I'll give you 87 because of the injuries to the pitching staff. But you were just talking about Kirk Gibson, and they beat us in 1988. That shouldn't have happened, but it did. And those years, really those 4 years, we turned a team that should have had a chance at a kind of dynasty kind of team to a team that just had one outstanding year.
And I think the 88 team, Ron, we got a lot to do here in a couple minutes, but the 88 team, I think in a lot of ways, maybe the worst thing that could have happened is winning that first game against the Dodgers the way you did. You came back in the ninth inning off Jay Howe. You scored all those runs. Coney then, of course, did the thing in the Daily News.
That's right.
You know, the Dodgers had lost, 10 straight to the Mets in the regular year. I actually think you woke them up a little bit. And I think in a lot of ways, in hindsight, maybe you got a little confident that there's no way we can lose this team. And I got the Dodgers mad in that game one of the 88 NLCS. I just thought of that. What's your take there? Let me hear.
No, they absolutely got mad after that. That was the poster board kind of stuff that Lasorda was great at, of course. And you have to remember, that entire year, we really had no trouble with the Dodgers, and they were waiting. And they couldn't wait to get some revenge, and they did. And like you said, Hershiser was unbelievable.
Yeah, in that first game, of course, the Mets could not capitalize on that in Cone Daily News. Okay, Rojas. Listen, I think it was a good move. I think the Mets had to go probably in this direction. I think the question that you have to ask, if they love Rojas so much, why didn't he get the job originally and they went to Carlos Beltran?
Well, I think Carlos is a celebrity and Hall of Fame type career probably won that out. They've always believed in Rojas. I was lucky enough, Chris, to spend a lot of quality time with him on Saturday, and I couldn't have been more impressed. Now, listen, I know his dad, Felipe, well. I know Moises, of course, his brother, really well. But why shouldn't we judge Luis Rojas? Why shouldn't we judge him the same way we judge Aaron Boone or David Bell? They come from baseball families. What they did every single night around dinner was talk about baseball. So he has the same lineage that those two do.
All right, how about that staff? I mean, is he going to be able to, that's a tricky spot.
Yes.
I mean, it's not really his staff. It's Beltran and Brody Van Wagenen's staff, and he's got to work with it right now without a lot of big experience on a now team. He is in a tricky spot. How do you think he's going to handle that? Let me hear.
Well, I think last year they were so happy with what he did as a quality control coach, and, that's an important coach in today's game, taking all the numbers that they crunch and being able to kind of filter it to the players. So you got to have great communication skills. A lot of the coaches are coaches that he coached with last year. Jeremy Hefner was a former Met. He's probably seen him in the minor leagues coming up. So I think his knowledge of the Mets minor league system, manage most of these players on this roster, can only be a good thing.
All right, the Astros situation, you're a pitcher. Does it abhor you? Is it, do you think they really, really crossed the line and deserve everything they get? I haven't heard your take on this, and you'd be the perfect guy to ask. Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting. Once Manfred's manifesto came down and said that it was going to be the GM and manager who were going to get the brunt of this, and they did with Lunau and Hinch. But I think I'm on the same kind of side as Clayton Kershaw, or at least his comments the last few days, and that is you would have liked to see a little contrition from the Astros at some point. I know they have said they're going to address it in spring training, but when they had their chance, I think a little contrition would have went a long way with the Major League Baseball community. They decided not to, and I think that's made it for a tougher 2 months for them than an easier.
Excellent point. I'm with you on that. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm tired of the Dodgers, Ronnie, moaning and groaning about how their championship was, tarnished and we should have won. They did lose 2 games at home in that World Series, and they did win a game in Houston. I mean, Jansen blew a save in Game 2. He doesn't do that. They win. Obviously, Game 7, Darvish had a chance. The Dodgers are a little bit too woe-be-me with this whole situation. I think they'd be better off just not saying anything at all. And if people want to say that the championship is tarnished, let outside people say that and not them say that. What's your take there?
Yeah, and Kershaw had a couple of big leads in Houston 2 times in that game, despite the cheating scandal. What I will say to that is what I read from Justin Turner, who I think has become one of the classiest players in the game, and that was there's no reason for us to think we're world champions. No one wants the first world champion since 1988 or Dodger champion since 1988 to come from anything except doing it on the field, having the parade because they deserve it. And I'll go with Justin Turner because he always seems to say the right thing.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that. Right on the, 100%. How about the Met pitching staff?
Yeah.
Let's get some thoughts here. Listen, Stroman, Matz, and Porcello. They need 2 of those 3 to win what? 27, 28 games? What's your take? We know DeGrom. You figure Syndergaard a little better, maybe DeGrom a little worse, so they sort of balance each other out. But they need 2 of the 3, 4, 5 to be good. To be good in 2020, your take?
Yeah, I'll add one more name. I guess Stroman, Matz, Walker, and Porcello. 2 of those 4 have to find some of their old form. For the newer pitchers, of course, take it to the next level. I'm talking about Stroman and Matz. They're deep in their staff. I think that's very important in today's game. So they've got a lot of guys in case someone goes down that can take the reins. But, more importantly, I think their starting staff is going to be fine. It's going to be one of the strengths of their team. But it's also, their bullpen, which really probably cost them a half dozen games last year, will be the big difference. How Rojas uses those guys. If Diaz doesn't get off to a quick start, does he pull the plug and go to someone else? It's going to be an interesting first month.
And they got Betances, and if he's healthy, he's going to be a big plus to this team. Ronnie, it's great to see you healthy and back in the mix. We love you. Thanks very much, I appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a great Super Bowl.